And we're live. Greetings and salvations. I'm Moonthought Neverborn, the abyss that slumbers, and you're listening to REDEYE Rants. Once again, we're streaming on Mad Dodge's channel because it seems like the longer I don't do anything with my channel, the better my internet becomes. I'm not quite sure what's up with that, but hey, that's what happens when you piss off Disney. And once again, I'm joined by Farty von Bumstink. How's it going, Farty?
Okie dokie. So the photo that we got up here is... I'll get onto that in a second. In Australia at the moment, they've got this whole big thing about you can't abuse people, you can't hit people, and it just seems to be that like people that they say that you can't abuse or hit are the people that kind of fucking deserve it. Let's go for nurses, for example. I've taken casualties to hospital and I've been accused by the nurses of actually injuring the people there. I'm a medic, I'm a firefighter. I am doing the civil part by taking these people to the place to get them more help when I can't provide it. And then I get accused of doing so. Teachers, another thing there too. They're saying you can't go and abuse teachers when teachers flat out don't do their jobs properly. And if I was a parent and I had my child in school at the moment, I'd be fucking furious with the teachers at the moment. Even down to workers in drive-thrus and Macca's and Burger King and stuff like that. Now, they sometimes fuck up their orders and take a long time, and I can't sort of begrudge people from being a bit cranky at them for not moving the first fucker along, for being convoluted to the point of saying, hang on, why don't you come into the store if you want to have the cow killed in front of you and the potatoes growing and then put in the fucking fryer? Those kinds of things. We can't actually go and say, hang on a minute, but there is a problem with the people that are the cause of all of this abuse. Like I just mentioned about the nurses, for example. Got a good example. I brought a casualty into the hospital and I told them that this casualty had a broken leg above the knee and their femur on the left side and a broken sternum. They ignored me. They ignored the casualty for 12 days. In that 12 days, whilst they were ignoring the casualty, they were trying to blame me for causing the damage that they were ignoring on the casualty. Figure that shit out. Things used to work a lot better back in the days when you used to be able to slap some sense into people and that actually used to be a threat. Things just weren't that stupid. Now, what's happened a lot lately is that, there's no excuse to hit a woman, domestic violence and all this kind of stuff. But hang on a minute. No excuse to hit a woman. A lot of women that are getting abused and beaten and sometimes killed, when they show the photos of the people on the news, they are complete fuckwits and arseholes. You can show by the photo. And I'll mention a little bit more about that particular point in a minute. The woman that you see in front of you here, Carly something fucking rather, she died about 10 years ago. The little girl was her daughter. She was only found a couple of years ago. They were found 2 states apart, about 2,500 kilometres apart. And cue the next picture.
One sec.
This is the... Yep.
There you go.
This is the monkey fuck that this woman decided to bring her daughter into a relationship with. Now, this guy is a criminal. He was a criminal, has been a criminal, but the girls like the bad boys, and the girls get the choice in the matter nowadays, you see. Now, I showed this picture on the Discord server a couple of weeks ago, and one of the responses I got was, oh, Jesus, this cunt looks like a child molesting murderer. I never told this bloke who mentioned this what this guy was about. And he could see from the photo that is something that you do not want to bring into a family. Now, he killed the wife, he killed the woman, he killed the girl. Yes, he did molest the girl. But fucking sake, can we at least fucking admit that the women get the choice, and at least sometimes they fuck up and choose the wrong fucking person. When women, like, and I've had this in lots of situations with women in my life where I just like, that guy's an asshole. I've got another example. Brianna Rose Smith. Fucking, she had this boyfriend, and I was told by another girl who ended up joining the fucking New South Wales police. Oh, Bri and her boyfriend are coming over. Just don't talk about all the fun times you have because this guy gets fucking jealous and blah, 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 blah. And it was at that night it was revealed to me that she got a staph infection. And I'm like, okay, how'd you get that? And it's like, well, he's got staph as well. And I'm like, oh, so it's sexually transmitted. You gave her this. Oh, I had great fun in ripping that into him, but I couldn't really be a friend to this girl because afterwards he gets jealous and rips into her. 2 years later, she finally fucking figures it out. I mean, like, come on. Okay, there's no excuse to hit women. Fine. But can we at least admit that fucking women getting the choice, if they make the bad fucking choice, can they at least fucking be to blame for at least some fucking thing? That's the rant about that.
I think what you're dealing with mostly, in my opinion, it doesn't necessarily mean hit him or not, although that could. I'm more along the lines of just flick somebody in the ear because it's usually the same effect. In fact, it's more humiliating to just flick somebody in the ear. But the problem is
the thing of it though is it's an epidemic kind of a thing, and every time a woman gets beaten to shit or fucking set on fire or stabbed or fucking murdered, it's usually a fuckwit like this bloke right here. That's the photo you usually see, and it's kind of like, why in the fuck were you going out with him in the first place? I mean, what the fucking fuck were you thinking? Oh, but I like a bad boy and I want to change them. You can't change them.
The bad
and you got to also.
At home. I mean, bad judgment.
You got to also.
At home. It's with your parents.
You know,
unfortunately.
But they also need to start teaching women too that the bad boys are not going to ever turn down a route. There is never a bad boy who's going to go, no, I'm too much of a bad boy for you. Go find someone nicer than me. No, they're just going to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to get some pussy. Oh, yeah. Like, the idiot women get the choice, and they choose these fuckwits, so why should we feel sorry for them?
Oh, I'm all for the why should we feel sorry. This is the problem. It's more a matter of accountability. If you make a stupid choice, you should be held responsible for that stupid choice. You know,
so why
like,
shouldn't?
Oh, they can't leave the family. I'm with you. Some people are weak and need to be helped to get out of bad situations. But I've had lots of situations where I've gone up to the client in question and said, "Do you want help?" And I can't get a straight answer. I can't get an answer that they want the help. No, they don't. They don't want the help. They want the sympathy. They want the attention. They want their cake and to eat it too. They want to be in the relationship, but they just don't want the relationship to be the way they were. To break up is a lot of work, is a lot of effort. They've gotten lazy, and it's whether you like it or not, guys like this, they do provide the money. They do, they take care of all that stuff that the women want. I just want him to change. No, you're in a really bad situation. Leave. I will help you. But
this woman was only in a 6-month relationship with this guy before he killed her, and she brought the kid into it. That should be like,
there should have been a tip off. Trust me, there's a tip off in the first week. Trust me.
She should at least be
figured there's something wrong.
She should at least be fucking brought up for child endangerment or something like that if she was still alive.
Now, ironically, I don't blame the women as much as I do blame their parents, because obviously you did not teach this child self-esteem, nor did you teach them good judgment. Rant. So there's a part of that I blame. I mean, part of it is them. You're an adult now. I'm sorry nobody helped you when you were younger, but I do also blame some of the parents for some of this stuff, and it just chains down.
No. I get exactly where you're talking about, and I'm going to go on another little tangent on that. is that in Australia we've got 40-kilometre-an-hour zones through schools. Now, that, you might think, okay, kindergarten's preschool and fucking primary school, or what do you guys call it, junior high. But when they get to high school and colleges and universities and stuff like that, it's like sort of kind of like, hang on a fucking minute. I got taught when I was a fucking kid that the fucking look both ways when you cross the street and make sure there's no cunt coming. And now we're in high school and we still need people with fucking stop-go sticks to fucking stand in the middle of the road and stop traffic just so fucking 15, 16, 17-year-olds can cross the road safely. And in some cases, they do the same thing for adults, which I find very fucking insulting. Like, if the school can't fucking teach the cunts how to cross the road properly, why in the fuck are we paying them so much? Why do we cower down to them every time they have a strike? We had something a couple of weeks ago where apparently all the students in the state of New South Wales got together and decided to go on strike for environmental purposes. There's a video up on my page where I actually challenged some of these fuckwits, where I said to them, you breathe out carbon, because they're screaming about keep your carbon in the soil, no more fucking something, no more oil. Said, you breathe out carbon. Yeah, you breathe it out. Yeah, you want to do something about carbon? Chuck yourself. And all they could come up with was a woo, yay, woo, yay, woo. Now, my point of view on that is that if these little fuckers were in school, they wouldn't be ranting and raving and carrying on. And if you're in an airtight box, the one thing you want to prevent from getting hypoxia is to talk. Don't talk. Don't yell, rant, and carry on. Don't scream and bitch and keep talking. Because if these kids collectively were still in their classrooms learning something proper, they would be shutting the fuck up. Therefore, they wouldn't be causing the amount of carbon that they were producing whilst they were ranting and raving and carrying on and all this kind of stuff. So why shouldn't we go into schools and fucking say, hey, stop filling my child with your bullshit rhetoric. Stop fucking making them fucking worse for the environment and all this while making them dumb cunts in the process. Yeah, you deserve a fucking smack in the head for being fucking stupid. Yeah.
Oh, well, anything else on this topic? Because I promised I'd tell some short story real quick before I get into it. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I guess go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In regards to McDonald's, this happened to me a long time ago. There was a local McDonald's that they couldn't come up with the concept of two. Like, they were having a problem counting to two. So I learned long ago not to go through drive-through, to go in. But I made the mistake this one time of going in. I just wanted, a number one and a Filet-O-Fish value meal and a hamburger value meal, and then I was leaving. I didn't think to check the meal. Okay. So
that's kind of going on what I just said about.
No, this is great. I drive all the way home, and I give my wife the Filet-O-Fish sandwich, and she opens it up, and there's no fish in there. There's the roll, there's the tartar sauce, it's in a wrapper, but there's no fillet of fish. And I am just where at the time where I was living, there was no other McDonald's for a really long drive, and my wife liked fillet of fish. That's why I kept going back there, and I'm like, that does it. So I drive all the way back there. I'm just furious. And I walk in and I say, excuse me, I'd like to speak to the manager. And I'm walking in, and obviously I've got my bill collector face on, because the minute they walked in, the person behind the counter goes, oh crap. And the manager comes over and I said, I would like to ask you a question. And I put the fish down. I opened up and said, what's wrong with this sandwich? And he said, there doesn't appear to be any fillet of fish in there. That's it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was looking at this sandwich and I'm like, what's missing? It's the fillet of fish. Thank you. I appreciate your candor in this matter. And he says, shall I get you a new one? And fries, because at this point they're cold. So he gets me the fries. Oh, it isn't done yet. This is great. He gets me the new filet of fish. He gets me the fries. I drive all the way home. My wife's there, and she says, you okay now? And I'm saying, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take it out on you at all. I apologize. And I sit down, and I go to get my hamburger, and I bite into it.
Oh, shit.
And I find the filet of fish.
Are you shitting me?
No.
Now, see, that's just exactly
burger.
what I fucking said. That's exactly what I just fucking said. Like, you know, fucking, oh, you can't abuse a staff at a Macca's or a Burger King or anything like that. Like, sometimes, yes, you fucking can.
I'm not physically, but you should be able to berate them for their idiocy. I mean, it was like,
Exactly.
oh, dear God, it just
Exactly.
But anyway.
I mean, to fuck up something that fucking simple. I mean, like, for fuck's sake, how are you still working there? Like, if you, like, a full fucking shift, if you can't put a fillet of fish on a steamed bun with tartar sauce and a fucking cheese slice. It's like, holy bloody shit. I figured out harder fucking feeds than that. Like, I can do a full roast fucking dinner and I've never been taught how to do it. Like, and these cunts can't even figure out a fillet of fucking fish, and they put it in the wrong fucking burger. Like, sometimes I think they do it on purpose, and that's the reason why you do have the right to go in and say, "Oi, you little cunt, you fucking fucked up, and come here, yeah, there. Are you gonna do it again? No, yeah, fucking, fuck you, and your mother and your fucking daughter, fuck you."
And the horse they rode in on. Anyway,
exactly.
So we move on to shaming sea otters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or did you want to go to the Mathis? Well, let's take care of this and then we'll move on to Mathis.
Yeah, do that and then we'll get on the next rant.
Aquarium apologizes for tweets about sea otter because people thought they were fat shaming the sea otter. This is California. They were body shaming otters. And the aquarium felt the need to apologize because they thought they were shaming an otter. I got nothing else other than what the fuck. It's an otter. I guarantee you, the otter is not shamed.
Well, I tell you what, if you want some LSD, go to California. I'm pretty sure there's plenty there by the judgment of this article.
I don't even know what it was, but it's a multi-part apology. Like, they couldn't just say it, I'm sorry. They just kept apologizing. This is how bad it is in California. This place has got to be a hellhole for this reason.
They need to go to that hotel in Dublin.
Oh, well, shall I bring up the Mathis story you wanted to talk about?
Oh, well, the monkeys at this fucking SeaWorld thing need to go to that hotel in Dublin to find out exactly how you deal with dickheads on the internet. Remember that hotel where that influencer emailed them and said, "I'm an influencer and I want a free room or else I won't go and give you a..." And they just went, "Get fucked, you're not coming here. I can only give a shit what you think you are. You can fuck off, you're not coming here, I don't care." And they end up getting more people staying there because they told this dumb bitch to get fucked.
Oh my God, yes. I know what place you're talking about, the influencer thing. Oh,
yeah,
God,
that's
look,
what they should have done at this.
A Tumblr blog. Come on, nobody cares.
Yep. Oh, it's offensive to sea otters that you call them as. Oh, get fucked. Go fuck yourself. See you later. Go, sayonara, bugger off, au revoir, adieu. Fuck. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
All right.
Apple News is such a bitch to get up on OBS. It's just, they make everything difficult. I hate Apple. I really do.
Yeah, tell me about it. When you're halfway through a story and some prick interrupts you and the phone times out. Anyway, Mattis seemed to me, as soon as Trump went and made him Secretary of Defense, I thought, oh shit, Bars has gone senile. Now, don't get me wrong, Americans. He has a very historic career and all this kind of stuff. The bloke should be celebrated and all that kind of stuff, but I think the dude's lost the plot. Because he was kind of a proponent of going to war with Russia. He still thinks that communism's a thing. He still thinks that the Cold War is the thing. And him disagreeing with removing the troops out of Syria, I kind of don't blame him for one point, because the Yanks were siding with the Kurds. and the Kurds were one of the most effective forces against not so much ISIS, but ISIS-like. Can't believe it's not ISIS, and diet ISIS. The fundies with the dirty undies, the fundamentalists. Now, the rest of the article goes on and explains from some of the Israel side. If you go back to the top, the person who penned this article obviously hates Trump because he keeps referring to him as Mr. Trump as opposed to President Trump. But in any case, it's the Israeli end of it saying that, like, oh, the Americans pulling out is going to be that fucking Iran's going to sweep across Syria and then go into Israel and then have a sea lane. Well, they can already do that because they're tied with Hezbollah in Lebanon. But they've also got the Straits of Hormuz and the Gulf of Arabia, the Arabian Gulf. So don't know why the Israelis are having a sup. Oh, but America's pulled out, so that means that Syria, Russia, and Iran are going to go and team up against the Israelis. And, well, no, they're not going to do that either because they've got their own agenda. One thing it has done, though, is that Turkey has already said that they're going to start an offensive against the YPG, which is a faction of the Kurds, and that's going to be a bad thing. Now, Turkey isn't going to side with Russia to go and take out Israel because Turkey is NATO and Russia's Warsaw Pact, even though the Warsaw Pact thing isn't actually a thing anymore. But they're two opposing sides. And the thing that's going to keep them apart is the Kurds and Assad. And Assad's already said that he's going to allow the Kurds, when this shit's all over, allow them an autonomous region in the north because they were so instrumental in fighting against the terrorism and all this kind of stuff. So they're fighting with Assad, not against him. Assad's realised that. He's not a dumb cunt. He's not the ruthless fucking tyrant that everyone thinks that he is. He's actually a very eloquent person if you actually sit down and actually listen to the bloke. So Iran, Assad's government, and the Russians are the most effective forces against all the terrorists in Syria at the moment, and that's tied in with the Kurds. And there's a tiny little bit of ISIS left. They're over on the Iraqi border. It won't take long for them to eradicate that. It won't take long after this because they've got basically all the fundies in almost one little area now. So, and this is where we were talking about with the chlorine attack about a year ago. Assad didn't need to do that because he's already winning with conventional weapons, and it usually is when the terrorists are losing badly, a chemical weapon happens to appear somewhere. And that's why we know that Assad didn't use chemical weapons. It's happened several times before. He doesn't need to use them, and if he does, well, why would he go and fuck up something that he's already winning?
Yeah, that made no sense to me. The whole chemical weapon thing. I think Donald Trump jumped the gun both times in trying to blame Assad on
he
that
did.
one.
He listened to the stupid people, and I even blame the Australian government because we sided with the British and the Yanks on that one, and we bombed Assad to help the moderates. So we literally sided with the enemy on that one.
Here's the thing, and partially I think that I blame Mathis on those two attacks for the chemicals. I think he's the one who came to Trump and said, no, definitely a chemical attack from Assad, definitely. I'm really glad that he's quitting. I really am, because I think both those missile strikes were on his shoulders, you know?
Yep, and that's what I'm saying. He's gone a bit senile. And it wasn't just the chemical attacks, but it's the fact that fucking Russia is backing Assad. He's like, oh no, there's another Cold War happening. Oh, Cold War. No, it's over, dude. Like some of the Vietnam vets that I speak to nowadays, when that last chemical attack happened, they're still talking China communist. Russia communist. Can't trust the Russians. You can't trust it. Actually, no. If anyone, you can probably trust bloody Putin more than anyone else on the planet at the moment. And Putin's turned around and went, when Trump went and pulled these 2,000 troops out, which is what he should have done fucking years ago, because that just means that Putin, and I've said this a lot of times before too, that Russia needs to go in and do what Russia does best. Fuck all the international conventions. Fuck your rules of war. Just go in, kill the enemy, destroy their thing. No protracted war bullshit. Just go in, fuck them up. That's it. Wipe them out. That's done. That's how you fight a war. And fucking Putin's been like, yep, Donald Trump, he pulls out these troops. Very good. Best thing he could do. Lovely. Thank you, mate. Fucking, because that just means that, like, and this is what I've even said this before too, the world needs to turn their back on the Middle East and let Russia do its thing. Don't ask questions. Don't even look. Don't. Any cunt has a soup. Blah 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 la 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 la. Fingers in their ears. La la la. Can't hear you. La 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 la. Let Russia just do the job. Don't care how it's done. Russia will do it. And now America's out of the thing. They just freeze them up. Like, Russia's is going to go do their thing. They're going to wipe out fucking ISIS. They're going to wipe out ISIS. They're going to wipe out ISIS Light. And they're going to wipe out, I can't believe it's not ISIS. And they'll do it in quick time too, with the help of Assad's government. And this is another thing that everyone's got to realise too, is that Russia is there to make sure that the will of the Syrian people is put forward. The whole deal that Russia is there is that fucking, okay, if everyone doesn't want, after all of this is cleared up, they stabilise Syria. There's a vote, democratic vote, and if Assad gets voted back in, fair and square, they'll support Assad. If he gets voted out, they will make sure he fucks off. It's as simple as that. And that's a Russian sort of thing. Like, okay, we're going to do this, and you're going to hold your bargain, and we're going to hold our bargain. And, all right. Oh, they say they don't want you. You fuck off now, okay? And if Assad just happens to just go blip off the face of the earth, well, you know, they voted him out. Simple as that.
Be perfectly honest, I don't care. Like, I think that the best thing we can do is just leave.
Well, to tell you the truth,
we're supposed to be there 3 months. It's been 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 3 months, and it's 7 years. Come on.
Tell you the truth of the matter, I wouldn't be surprised if Assad does get voted back in, because he is not the cunt that everyone's trying to make him out to be. Your mainstream media and all that kind of shit is absolutely wrong. Just need to look him up on YouTube, some of his speeches. He is for his country. He knows that he needs to stabilise the place before any regime change happens. He's looking out for the people. And you look at just Damascus, like the entire way through the war, and even some of the places that have been retaken from ISIS, it's not a place. It's not a part of. These guys were bad, but now these guys are in charge, so we need to praise them. It's like, holy fucking fuck, what took you so long? Kind of a thing.
I think the major problem is that America does not understand the Middle East and the attitude you have to govern over there. We tried to Americanize them. You can't. You can't Americanize the Middle East because they do not have American values. And when you try to impose American values, we discovered this thing where they don't give a crap about their own lives. The reason why Saddam Hussein managed to keep his country under control was because he threatened the lives of people's families. Now, you might say that's monstrous. That's terrible. But you want to know something? If you look at the 10 years before we took over their country, there were deaths, but not nearly as many dead after we invaded Iraq.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm sure all those extra dead millions of people would have preferred to have lived under a little oppression rather than be dead. So,
well, that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize too, is that they see death in a different way to us. Like, you can compensate them for a loved one who's died, and that's all fair and square. Okay,
go ahead.
Oh, no, never mind.
I mean, when it comes to dealing with Russia, I think Putin is a nationalist. He loves Russia, but his concerns are regional. Okay? His concerns with Syria, in my opinion, are because it's on his border, and that's it. It's the same reason why he's concerned with Ukraine, because it's on his border. I don't think the guy wants to invade Europe. I don't think he wants to invade anywhere. He wants, we are no longer a superpower. We're a regional power.
There are economical advantages to the Middle East as well. Because you also got to remember, too, that during the Cold War, most of the Middle East were buying Russian equipment. That's why every terrorist has an AK-47. That's why every terrorist has an RPG-6 or an RPG-7. That's why most Middle Eastern countries have your T-40, T-54, T-55 tanks. That's the reason why, because the Russians were selling to the Middle East whilst the Yanks were selling to everyone else. And they do want that back. Like, they do have economical advantages
I'm not
to be able
saying
to buy
he's
their shit.
altruistic. No, he's clearly selfish, but I think part of his selfishness is order. I think he does not want chaos. He wants order. Now, China, on the other hand, China scares the crap out of me. Okay, because when you look at China, they might be one country, but they're not. They are very fractionalized. There are many, like, there's very, how do I put this, balkanized without being balkanized. Okay?
No, don't be scared of China yet.
Oh, no, I'm not scared of them. I'm saying that they are unpredictable. That they are not the monolith that everybody thinks they are. And you can't depend on, you can depend on Russia to do, you can predict Russia. I don't think you can predict China. China is a lot harder to predict, in my opinion.
Economically, they're actually scrambling at the moment because they've overextended themselves economically. Militarily, they have absolutely zero experience. They've had zero experience since like World War II. Right, so militarily, what's going to happen is if they ever, and this is what they don't want to do, they've been trying to not get involved in something like this for a great long time now, is they don't want to get into a full-scale war or a large protracted war, which would cause tens of hundreds of thousands of casualties because of their single-child policy, which they still haven't bred themselves out of yet. And if they did, in fact, go into something like that, they'd have single children still going off to war and then their parents becoming old, decrepit, and then that would cause a welfare state. They'll need to address that because the sanctions and all this kind of stuff, your human rights and all this kind of bullshit. So what will happen is the first war they will get into, they will take a huge amount of casualties because they haven't really learnt all the lessons that everybody else has. And they just really can't afford that at the moment. When they start to breed through to the second child policy, so when people can have more than one child, and then they start turning 18 and they start going through military service and all this kind of stuff, and they can bolster their replenishable forces, that's when you've got to start to worry, because that's when they will have the human wave factor again. It wouldn't really matter about the tactics. They don't care if tens of hundreds of thousands of people get killed in one battle or something like that. They will have a World War I style, the Somme type deal, and they won't fucking care. And there's nothing that anyone will do about it, will be able to do about it at that point. Because
I don't think we're going to be needing to worry about them like in that capacity for quite a while. Like for now, I mean, we need to watch them. Well, because they could do
crazy getting there,
but that's about it.
No, it is getting there because they're already starting to take territory in the Pacific around Southeast Asia and all that kind of stuff. There's been a lot of places where the Chinese have claimed sovereignty, and there's like ungoverned islands and stuff like that, and they're like, oh yeah, no. Well, we don't own this island, but we'll put this dirty great big fucking oil rig type of thing just about 10 kilometers off it, and then we'll make that into a bit of an airfield because we need to land supplies and stuff like. Oh, now we've got this dirty great big island right next to this little island. Oh, but that's this island that we built. That's our sovereign territory. So that now comes into international maritime law, where I think it's like 10 kilometers from the shore or something like that, which it dictates that these islands actually come under. They're starting to do that shit. That's one thing that you got to start to worry about. They are starting to take over the Pacific. They're looking forward to this kind of stuff. We don't have to worry about it yet, but it will come.
Anyway, shall we move on to more? We've talked about this politics a lot. Shall we move into some more lighthearted topics?
Yep.
Okay, hold on a sec here. Okay.
China.
Okay, moving on here. Controversial treatment transfuses patients with young blood from teenagers to reverse aging process. Now, this has been around for quite a while here. There's actually research from like the 1940s and 50s. The Germans were actually the first ones to come up with it, you know, how to make people feel and look younger. Come on, stop. There you go.
How to make people.
But could the secret of eternal youth be found in blood transfusion from young people? Some claim that transfusions with young blood from teenagers can reverse the aging process. Now, the truth of the matter is that it does, but the amount of blood that you have to go through is positively vampiric. All right? Like, this is not for... You need probably about a dozen teenagers on tap per month in order for it to actually work. So you're looking at, yeah, as this says, like $8,000 a month just to get the right blood plasma platelets. I mean, it does have, you know, I mean, if I was a teenager and somebody said, hey, I'll give you $50 for a pint of your blood, I'd be like, hell yeah. How often can I give this up? But I find it strange that it's coming back into phase in Philadelphia. Like, this is the kind of thing that I would expect on the West Coast in California. I mean, those guys are practically vampires already, but Pennsylvania I thought was okay, but apparently Philadelphia is starting to creep into a little of the freaky side of things. Any thoughts about how we're getting more vampires in America?
Just wish, the vampires would be like in Twilight where they suck dick instead of the blood.
All the spark.
That's what you get for
it. All turn
that's
sparkly. That'd be great. I would love to see.
Yeah, that's what.
Hey, memes, how's it going? Yeah,
that's what you get for having vampires that glitter in the sunshine as opposed to fucking bursting the flames.
But Keith Richards only gets blood transfusion from like drug addicted teenagers. Okay, trust me.
Yeah. But Keith Richards is one of the two things that's going to live past the nuclear apocalypse. Him and a cockroach are going to be sitting there going, you know, I spoke to your father.
Well, guess what? I mean, you're going to have to do something with like the blood transfusions because remember a couple of weeks ago we did the guy who wanted to request to be 20 years younger. Well, the court rejected his request to legally change his age. Apparently, you know, you can choose your gender, but you can't choose your age. You know, some things are set in stone.
Well,
but yeah, the Netherlands, you can't become a 49-year-old just by, you know, petitioning the court anymore. Darn.
But how am I going to live? I mean, like, I'm a 40-year-old with an 80-year-old body and 100-year-old parts and a 2-year-old mind. It's never been used.
Is it still in the original packaging?
Yeah. Haven't even bothered to unpack it yet.
Well, but there was one other more. Where is it? There was another. Oh. I don't know why, but we had a cluster of non-aging thing here. Woman injects herself with 3.5 million year old bacteria to stay young. Yes, she's a 45-year-old actress from Germany. Apparently, somebody found 3.5 million year old bacteria from the Siberian permafrost, and these bacteria apparently show no signs of aging. I thought that bacteria just split by mitosis, so every bacteria was technically millions and millions of years old, but okay.
I've instantly leapt to the horrific with this one.
Oh yeah, that woman is That's that's a nice metaphor you're working there.
This
But
is worse.
but she's
This
been
is where did she inject it? Because you know the whole
her
thing about
bloodstream is the
yeast,
official place.
yeast cultures and stuff like that. You know, certain cultures of yeast make certain types of bread and beer. And did
I mean,
she inject it in a midge?
here's the weird thing. If that first picture of her is the before and the second one is the after, she does look younger, but she also looks extremely pale. Again, is she turning into a vampire? I'm serious. She looks like she's bleaching. I mean, my God. But yes, my skin is as soft as a baby's bottom because I'm injecting myself with 3.5 million year old bacteria, Bacillus F.
Oh, hang on! No. That was annotated. That her skin is as soft as a baby's bottom with nappy rash.
Quite possibly. Her skin is as soft as a baby's bottom because she harvested it from a baby and she keeps it in her purse.
Mm-hmm. I think, Eldrich God, you're going to have to do something about that thing and smite it from a great height.
Yes, there needs to be some smiting going on here. Speaking of people injecting themselves with really weird shit. High school student injects himself with DNA pattern made from Bible and Quran verses. Okay.
Oh shit! Does that mean he wants to kill himself?
I'm sitting there and going, okay, why did he do it? Because he said, hey, I can do it. I just wonder what happens. So he designed DNA chains that match to the characters in the various passages of the Quran and Bible, got into a syringe and shot himself up in his thighs. Why? Because he just wanted to know if it could be done. And the answer is apparently yes, you can be stupid and inject yourself with chains of DNA. Fortunately, nothing happened other than there's some weird swelling in his legs from some sort of bizarre infection-like response.
No, I know what happens. It's an accelerated time frame thing. He'll burst into flames when he hits the 1940s.
Or maybe he put Bible passages in one leg and the Quran in the other, and when they meet in his groin, there's just going to be a jihad or something.
Yeah, his testicles try and punch each other out. Actually, one testicle is beating the shit out of his other testicle and then puts it up on a cross. And if his dick just starts going wide for some reason at one specific point along his knob, yeah, you'll know that's the Muslim knob trying to fucking hang the Christian knob.
Okay, do not inject yourself with strange DNA. Public service amount. Yeah. The more you know. Okay.
You'll get strange fucking images in your head like I just did. Holy shit. I thought I was nuts.
Well, speaking of strange images in your head, the new VR sex helmet lets you record VR porn. It has 7 cameras on your head.
Yeah.
And so now you can perfectly record for virtual reality replaybacks of sex. Apparently, the adult entertainment company VR Bangers, yes, that's really their name, unveiled the prototype of their new Eldrich 2.0.
Bangers.com.
Apparently,
bangers.com.
I didn't know that up until this point, in order to do it, you had to have sex with a dummy that actually was a head stuffed full of microphones and cameras.
No, not really. No, what they do is that when they're filming it, they had a fixed frame with the different cameras that did the 360 degree thingy-doodle. Now, this one allows you to fuck your girlfriend in 3D, 360 degree and all that kind of stuff, so you can go through. Like, this is amazing. I first found out about 360 degree and all this kind of stuff through fucking... not World of Tanks, the Bovington Tank Museum. They went inside of a tank with a 360 degree camera. You can pause it, move it around. It's fucking great. And this is what they call the spider helmet. It's got 8 different cameras around it, and it's designed so, like, if you're laying in a bed, you can get the entirety of the thing You don't have to move your head, and she can do whatever, blah, 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 and you'll get the whole thing. Yeah.
Of course, it must be used for sex as soon as possible because porn and kittens
Of course.
created the internet. I mean, let's just be honest here.
Even Neil deGrasse Tyson, he actually fucking says this in as many a speech in conference and all this kind of stuff, that like all we did with the space technology and all this kind of stuff was just further ourselves to have a route. I mean, you look at it. You got all the satellites in the world and all this kind of stuff with communications and all this kind of stuff allows us to have a handheld device where we can say, "Yep, I'll fuck her. Nope, I don't want to fuck her. Yep, I'll fuck her. Swipe left, swipe right."
Well,
it's pretty much that.
Speaking of fucking, I know a guy who might be having problems with that.
Donald Trump, whose pussy he grabbed?
Nope. Utah man accused of hammering ice pick through a man's penis. Yes, a Utah man has been charged with sexual assault and kidnapping after authorities say he hammered a tool resembling an ice pick through another man's penis during an argument. Now, I want to know how you did it during an argument. Because I'm pretty sure at the point where you've got his penis out, it's no longer an argument. It's just, oh, Jesus, please do not put that ice pick through my penis. I mean, that's not an argument at that point. That's begging.
No. I can see how this will go. It's like the first dude goes, "My dick's bigger than yours." Second dude goes, "Yeah, bullshit. Flop it out." And the first dude goes, "Here you go." And the second dude goes, "Hang on a minute. Just so it doesn't shrink."
Well, in case you were wondering, they were a gay couple. And the one guy who did it...
okay, then he should have known how...
And said he had a choice.
Yeah, he should have known how the other dude's speech was.
Yeah, he had a choice. You could be killed in the desert, or you can have a nail driven through your penis. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this has something to do with their relationship.
No. They were watching the movie Four Rooms. It's at the end where it's like, yeah, if the lighter lights, then some dude loses finger.
TM Writer says desert. I'll take the desert. Don't put a nail through my penis. I'll take the desert. Given the choice, desert.
Actually,
desert.
I'd take the nail through the dick just as like a piss in the novelty. Hey, I go to a party. It's like, "Hey guys, what's this?" And I'd just hold my dick up to some cunt's face and just piss like out the side instead of in the dude's face. Like,
you could do it like a sprinkler, like.
Oh, that's actually a thing. Look that up on YouTube. There's this like dude from he's having an Australian barbecue, and like, you know, he sticks a hose up his ass and he goes, "Here, check this out." And he comes out with his like pants down and he starts like fucking squirting water out his ass, and he does this big spin and fucking sprays everyone. It's funny as fuck. There's not much to do other than fucking beat the fuck out of kangaroos.
Just having to describe it's enough.
There's not much else to do out here other than beating up kangaroos and having your babies stolen by dingoes and shit.
Wow. Australia's got everything. Australia's got everything.
Oh, yeah. We got it bigger and better than America. Yeah, you reckon you got Big Bear come out and have a Darwin stubby. That'll fuck you up.
Well, I want to get onto this since we've talked about some funny stuff and we've kind of gone through the chain here. I want to get to the government shutdown.
Government shut where?
Yeah, okay. Now, here in America, the government is shut down, which means that only essential services are being paid for, and anybody who's working without getting paid will eventually get back pay, which means that really the government shutdown's just delaying paying some people until it's over. And in my opinion, if it's unnecessary, why are we paying for it in the first place? This is why the title of this video is A Libertarian Christmas, because I hope that the government stays shut down, okay? Because nothing essential is being turned off. Everybody's getting their Social Security checks, okay? And I'm pretty sure that our governors and our congressmen and our senators are getting their paychecks. Those are essential after all. But the less we pay, the better. I see this as like just cutting back the budget. So, yep, keep it shut down. Never turn it back on again. That'd be great. But for anybody who's wondering what's going on, Donald Trump said, I want $5 billion to build a wall. And they said, no, we won't do that. So he said, okay, well, I'm not signing anything else. And we're going to see how long this goes on. But really, the way it's looking right now, it looks like people are blaming the Democrats because they're the ones who seem to be unwilling to compromise.
On the other hand, I mean, like, people who work for the government still collect revenue and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, there was an episode of Deadliest Catch where there was a government shutdown and they couldn't get their licenses approved for a couple of days. And time does mean money and that kind of a sense, looking out for the little guy and all that kind of shit. On Friday, we had Thursday, we had a huge, well, Friday your time, Thursday our time, huge storms come through. The bloke I work for here, one of his shops got shut down because the entire suburb was out of electricity. They couldn't use their tills, couldn't use lights, nothing. And he was saying, yep, but that one day, there's $5,000 to $7,000 straight out of his pocket right away. So it's not so much a good thing every time the government shuts down, because any kind of a shutdown is going to probably hurt the little bloke. You know, with the Deadliest Catch case, it's, you know, well, that just means there's a couple more days that they can't, you know, work. And when you're working with weather and all that kind of stuff, you know, some days they just simply can't work because of the weather. There's some days they've got to run away from the weather. Some days they've got to run into the weather. And either way, if they're, say, for instance, prospecting, meaning that they're trying to find where the catch is, there's a few days gone right then and there. And if you're going to fucking revoke their licenses and stuff like that, I mean, it's things like that that's like, I kind of have a bit of a gripe about the government shutting down. And when you're talking about government workers who all they do is they sign a form, plop a stamp, hand a piece of paper, and that's the most work that they do in a day. And they complain about, fucking, I gotta work 10 hours to sign forms, and my job's really hard. Yeah. Fuck with. Come and sit in the passenger seat of a truck for 14 fucking hours and go through fucking Australia's fucking heat, all this kind of shit, and do that for half the fucking pay you do. Then fucking have a sook, biatch. You know, that's I got to fucking gripe about cunts who work for like that kind of a job. They don't really deserve the fucking day off. They should have to work for free. Fuck the cunts.
Well, I've got a cunt for you then. You're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
Get ready to wind yourself up. Officials: woman passes gas, then pulls knife on offended man. In Diana Beach, Florida, a Florida woman faces an aggravated assault charge after authorities, come on, say that she passed gas in line at a dollar store and pulled a knife on the man who complained about it.
Funny story about that, man. Like, fucking, when I was with my last ex, Susan, we went to a fucking Target in Australia, and I was up this fucking aisle, and Susan come around the corner, and I dropped this fucking, like, it's a super mega grog bog fart. Like, this was like a fart you do on a good night after the piss. That's why grog bog. Fucking, it smells rank. It's like a swamp mixed with shit, mixed with fucking tear gas. And I just motioned to Susan, stay back. And as she just went to turn around, some dude come around the other corner of the aisle, and he hit it like a fucking ton of bricks. Like, no shit, he hit it like a solid wall. He's just like, both hands up to his face, like, oh shit! Turned around and fucking walked away. And it's like we both pissed ourselves laughing. It was funny as hell. No, I didn't shit myself.
Well, I'll never get to experience that. I can't smell.
But I know for a fact that I'd never get stabbed for dropping my guts, because if something was that bad that she'd just turn to a knife, she'd be dead before she reached for the knife.
Oh, well, no, she's the one who farted. She farted,
Oh,
and then she pulled the knife on the guy who complained and said, "Dear God, that stinks." So she said,
yeah.
"You think my fart stinks? I'm going to have to cut you."
Hang on. Here's the question: was it from the front or the back?
I think he was standing behind her, and she turned around on him. But it's hard.
No, I mean, like, was
what
it?
level of ego do you have to have that people can't say your fart stink? I mean, that is a
No.
My farts don't stink, and now I'm going to have to kill you for even bringing it up.
No. You misread me there. Was it from her front or her back? Was it or was it?
They don't say, but I suspect, judging from the smell, it probably was from the back.
You cut out right when you said it was from the
back. Anyway.
Yeah, well, the front can be worse, especially if it's full of bread. I mean, yeast.
Speaking of full of it. Okay, this one. Pope Francis calls predator priests vicious wolves and urges them to turn themselves in. So apparently the problem of pedophiles in the church is fixed now, because the Pope said turn yourself in. So I'm pretty sure that if, they don't turn themselves in, that they're not pedophiles, right?
No. Grab the bloody Pope and fucking... Because we can't, can we? Because the one that fucking smelt it dealt it. And fucking if he's turning around and saying, all you fucking pedophiles, I know who you are, because I was there with yous. No, all you got to turn yourselves in, but just shh about the one with the big hat, remember? Shh.
This sounds like the kind of thing that a PR department gives them as a speech, because it's one of those... I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, it's like, duh. I think the pedophiles know they should turn themselves in, and they've already chosen not to. So why are you wasting your goddamn breath? I
see. I know how you can find all of these bastards. Easily. Because what do you give a pedophile that has everything?
What's that?
A bigger parish.
Oh!
No. The ones that want a bigger parish, no. Seriously, like I've seen this shit before, even with the Salvation Army, and they're a Christian fucking mob. For anyone who doesn't know what the Salvos are, like, no shit. I actually got that question earlier this week. Who are the? Why do you keep equating the Salvos to the Pope? Because they're religious, and yes, anyway, I used to work for him fucking years ago, and even the cunt that was in charge of the yard that I was working out of, he was fucking holding people to, laws and shit. Like they had like drug and alcohol rehabilitation program there, and fucking sometimes it was court appointed, and sometimes it was you're under 18. Oh, you don't do what I say, or else you're going to fucking the ass jail. Guess you're fucking the ass anyway, aren't you? Like, I'd take that cunt out the back of buggery and fucking shoot that cunt in the fucking head. No problems whatsoever.
Well, I got a couple of miscellaneous ones, but they're not very interesting. So I'm going to wrap this up on the last serious article we got here. Electronic Arts expect additional estimate reductions as Battlefield 5 sales disappoint. I'll sum it up for you. I believe they're between costs that they've lost with the whole Battlefield 5 fiasco and the drop in their stocks. EA's out like $21 billion. I mean, they are just out like a ton of money over this. Maybe they should so much because some idiot in their company said, if you don't like the game, don't buy it. Guess what, dude? They took your advice.
EA Sports was that, like, the champions don't take drugs and stuff like that. Maybe they should get into drugs.
They're
There's
down
a lot more money in it.
45% since they made this fiasco going. They're just, oh, God. And you know what? Burn EA to the ground, salt the ground where they once stood, okay? That's my position.
I can't remember actually the last time I heard of an Electronic Arts fucking game. Except for, like, back in the days where, like, was it a Street Fighter or fucking something like that? One of those ones.
You know, the guys who did Fallout are just as bad. I was researching into
Bethesda.
Bethesda.
Oh,
They started out with like 20 people. They made a great game. They went up to 30 people. Great game. 80 people. Okay game.
No.
76. They've got over 300 people on
hang
Fallout
on.
76.
The Fallout games was somebody else first, and I think they bought either New Vegas or the second one.
Yeah,
something like
they did
that.
a pretty good job. They've done some pretty good games, Bethesda. What the hell happened? 300 people working on this project, and they turned into like I've seen the video clip. It's horrible. It's horrible. They've got.
Oh no, shit! I'm trying to explain it to my mate in jail, who is a mad fucking gamer. The court said, "Oh, we don't know how and if we can rehabilitate this guy." It's like, just fucking come and ask me. I'll fucking tell you. Stick him at home in a room with a collar on his ankle. He'll play video games for the next 35 fucking years. He won't leave the bloody room. Don't worry. And so I'm now tasked with trying to explain fucking things like, Fallout 76 and fucking Red Dead 2. And the only thing I can figure out is, like, at first, fucking Fallout 76, every cunt was pissed because there was fuck all content. And I actually thought, hang on a minute. Well, Fallout 4, all the modding community just came together and they just did all sorts of weird and wonderful shit, and fucking Bethesda just went, yeah, go for it. Yep. Here's the fucking here's the tool key or something, whatever the fucking thing was. Here's all the shit to go and make it all work. Yep, no worries. And then you put it on the internet, fucking whatever advertises our game, no problems. 76 came out with fucking nothing. And I thought at first, they're just releasing a base thing. They're going to give the keys to the fucking modding community, and then the modding community is going to do the rest for them. And then it turned out, no, it's microtransactions everywhere. It's like, you motherfuckers. That's why everyone's pissed at it.
I'm thinking that this is going to be the Chinese year of the dumpster fire. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's because all of these gaming companies, all of these franchises, they're just trashing their own intellectual property and gutting their own companies. And you're sitting, I've been watching it, and I actually added up. I mean, it's like there's over a dozen major companies just tanking. Just ruining
it's not
everything.
just that.
And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, what happened to greed?
It's not just that. It's even the movies. I mean, like, look at fucking
the movies
Disney
too. Look at Doctor Who. I mean, I don't want to get into that because I'll rant for an hour on that crap. But what happened? How did all these idiots get in charge of these companies? Because there's no other explanation other than there's like this wave of NPCs who didn't get properly coded, who have taken over all these companies.
Yeah, it's like fucking Star Wars is like, how the fuck do you kill something that expensive in that short amount of time? Unless you tried to. I mean, like, I think Ryan Johnson really hates Disney because you couldn't have fucking done something worse for that company. And then kept on fucking playing with it. Oh, no, it's not me. It's a toxic fan base. Oh, the fans, the ones who are making me the money, they're the cunts. Oh, you're a bunch of cunts. Fuck you, Walt Disney, you anti-Semite motherfucker. I know. Johnson. Yeah. Ryan Johnson. He's a fucking Jew, and he's getting Walt Disney back from beyond the grave because he's an anti-Semite.
That makes a bit more sense than anything else that's happening. But, oh, God.
Yeah, see, well, they're right. The conspirators are right. The Jews are taking over now. Fucking.
They were rich anyways, but that's besides the point. I'm just waiting. I think it's going to be about another year. We've only just now started to hit the avalanche of disasters that are going to come from all of this. I think it's going to be at least another year of places just imploding. And I think the where it's going to end is with episode 9. I think that is going to be the final dumpster fire. I think after that, people will finally go, okay, clearly we can't be this stupid anymore. Because I don't care if episode 9 gives me a blowjob while I'm in the theater. If the movie itself gives me a blowjob, I will not go. All right, I will not go. I'm tempted to protest, to get a sign and just walk out front of a theater just for the hell of it.
If Ray personally sent me an invitation for a blowjob to watch the movie, actually no. If Ray sent me a personal invitation for a blowjob, I'd probably fob her off anyways.
I'm sorry.
She does. She said that yes, I'll take it up the arse. I might fucking consider it because she does a really good I'm about to have it up the arse face.
Yeah, she does. It's the only other expression she has other than slightly parted lips. Like, I hate... God.
Yeah, that was a feigned fear, but the feigned fear look on her face, I've seen so many times on Pornhub is like, prepare to board. Kind of a face.
I study communication, nonverbal communication. I study it, and when I watch, I can't. It's painful to watch the movie. It is literally painful. It's like nails on a chalkboard. I can't stand to look at her acting. She's got 3 faces, and they're all fake, and nothing is sincere about her because nothing else matches her. The rest of her body does not match her face.
Because she's a Mary. Oh shit! Can't use that term now, can we? She's Mary Jane. Oh no, that's the wrong term. Because she's
smoke Mary Jane to watch that movie. Any rate,
that's about it. Yeah.
Any last bitches or rants you want to get out? Because we're hitting midnight here.
I hate it when I fart and cunts blame me for it.
Yeah. I'm usually to blame, so I don't care. Anyway. This looks like a good place to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's a Mary Sue. You know what we need to do? We need to get her. We need to get the new Doctor Who. And then we need to get, what be another... The
new Black Sheila Spider-Man and fuck them all off into the sun with Superman 3.
And we need to get Mikey Spock from Star Trek Discovery. And put all 3 Mary Sues in the same movie. Because one Mary Sue must always be better than everybody else. It'll create a feedback loop and they'll explode.
Talking about that, there's supposed to be this like Netflix Marvel, DC thingy where there's this Australian actress called Ruby Rose. Don't know whether you heard of her, but she's a fucking nobody who was on MTV and fucking she's a leso, and that's basically her claim to fame is she's a leso. And now she's like female Batman on Netflix and it died in the ass. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, and the Men in Black, Men in Black International, that's looking like it's gonna have a Mary Sue in it too.
Actually, I kind of want to watch that. But
I want to watch it because I think was it Liam Neeson's in it? But the problem is I think
Chris Hemsworth.
He's only going to be in it for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, but there's Chris Hemsworth and that fucking Kiwi Sheila, the Mary Sheila from fucking.
It's gonna be terrible. You know, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah, what's that new bloody what was that Mexican Sheila that was in fucking bloody. What was that game? Fucking. What was the game they made into a movie? And then several games they made into several movies.
Are you talking about Battleship?
No.
Because I like that movie.
Oh yeah, no, she was in that. She was in that. She was a Mexican woman. Bloody. Fuck. Never mind. Don't worry. I'll be here all night trying to fucking figure that bimbo out. But yeah, no, she's the new the one in Men in Black International. She's the new one of that.
Well, only time will tell, but I don't think they've learned any lessons. Any rate, good place to wrap it up here. It's been real and it's been fun. I think it's been kind of fun. Any last words or thoughts before we get out of here, Farty?
Baby.